Wow.
Here we are.
Well, fresh off of another brunch shift. And guess what? We decided to bring brunch to the pod.
Oh, am I supposed to grab mine?
Yes, grab your mimosa. God, sorry, townspeople. You ruined the bid.
We have our mimosas.
Typically, we drink mommy juice, but today we're doing...
Well, tell them why. Tell them why we waited till Sunday again.
No, shut up. Cheers. I'm Pioneer Peru.
I'm Trailblazer Nick. This is Pioneers and Trailblazers.
Some ASMR for y'all who like ASMR. What a day. But we're really ready, excited, thrilled, and jolted.
Jolted?
Jilted.
No, jolted is a bad thing.
Oh, jolted is a bad thing?
Like a jilted lover.
Oh, jilted is like scorned?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
That's it. That's the end. That's the end. That's all we do.
Great story.
No,
anyway, I lost my voice earlier this week, for which I famously had to call out of our place of establishment of work. And you know what? It is so crazy how, like, our job... We really have been on the verge of just, like, having, like, a company walk out at our job. And it's fine. Like, I feel like we're just really ready for, like, bigger and greener pastures, but non-restaurant related.
No, 100%. It's gotten to a point now where I, for me personally, have gotten in trouble. Actually, this is now going to be...
Oh my God,
like
tell me about your write-up.
Well, okay, first and foremost, I did not get written up. Thank you very much. Well, I got a verbal warning.
You got a verbal, bitch, not the good kind.
So anyway, I got in trouble like a couple of weeks ago, originally for being a huge bitch to people on the phone, allegedly. I obviously, what's the word? Refute?
You refute the allegations.
I refute the allegations. They are untrue. Because one of the people who claimed that I was rude to them backtracked on it after the fact the next day when the general manager called to apologize. She was basically like, oh, you know what? I was kind of in the wrong. And I was like, exactly. So why the fuck am I getting in trouble? And then a week and a half ago, is it now? Or was it 2 weeks ago? Oh, it'll be like a week and a half ago. Mm-hmm. I got called in. I like dropped off my closing slips for the evening, and one of our managers was like, I need to talk to you for a second. And I was like, oh God, what? And then she was like, so we had a pickup order come and pull one of us aside and say that you were incredibly rude to them on the phone. And
I was, townspeople, I was there. I was on the floor. It was, which by the way, for such a fucking busy and fucking money-making establishment that we work at, there's no need for us to be doing any takeout during fucking like peak hours. Like, y'all, there's a huge line outside. We're like running behind on tables, and then we're still fucking doing a fucking takeout order. Like, it's so stupid.
It was the only takeout order that I did that night, so it wasn't that big of a deal.
So you were like, me have to do my job. Hello?
No, I'm fine doing orders because like I think that's fun because it's just like it gives me something to do versus like having to fight with someone on the phone about a table. Like people when they order, I give them what they want because we're making the food. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like someone being like, I want a table at this time, and then me being like, oh, I don't have that.
People be doing that.
Oh.
And you know who's not doing that? And you know what? We can cut this if you think it's too much. But, you know, people come to a restaurant, like people like Glenn Close come to our restaurant, which famously may have happened soon as in the last few hours.
Right. Miss Glenn.
Miss that. We have celebrities coming in, like, so it's not like... It's like anybody requesting, so like it doesn't really amuse us anymore. Like even like I'm gonna write this in my book, but I famously made Dua Lipa wait for her table, and she was like, "I'm happy to wait," and I'm just like, "Okay."
Oh,
cool.
I fully got into a fight with the gay assistant of a famous movie director, mostly because
which was the one that got you in trouble too, wasn't it?
I don't think he got me in trouble, but he got what he wanted eventually. But they just gave it to him
from one of our.
So anyway, quickly, I'll just talk on this. Me and this gay assistant, he like wanted his boss to come in for dinner. He's in town for a premiere, and mind you, this director is well into his 80s, has not released a good movie in well over 15 years. So why would I
guess the last release was a big release, but sure.
I mean, he hasn't made a good movie since like the Pirates of the Caribbean, babe. Like he hasn't, and even then, girl, like we
don't have to cut that.
We don't have to cut it. They'll look it up. But I was like, girl, you have not made a good movie. But anyway, I was like, so why am I gonna bend heaven and earth to get you in? Because one, I do not care.
And also, don't be a bitch.
Also, your gay assistant, rude.
Yeah.
Thank you, and was rude to me first. Thank you very much. Anyway, so there was that. But then so anyway, like a week and a half ago, my manager was like, "I need to talk to you," and I was like, "Great, whatever. What's going on, girl?" And she was like, "So we had a to-go order. They said you were incredibly rude to them on the phone, and you hung up on them in the middle of conversation." She's like, "Do you remember that?" I was like, "Well, I only took one order today, so yeah, I think I would remember, but that's not how it went."
And the way that they addressed us sometimes in these instances, they treat it like it's like Trump's trial has nothing on them figuring out if somebody was rude on the phone to somebody. Like, Trump's hush money trial is literally like child's play with them trying to like get to the bottom of like some stupid ass thing. It's so dumb.
I don't follow politics. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on there.
You should, because it's an election year, and townspeople, I hope you're registered to vote.
Oh, we're registered. We're just gonna close our eyes and pick whatever one feels fun.
Oh, no, not that.
No, but so then anyway, so she's like, "Does that ring a bell?" And I was like, "No, it doesn't." She was like, "Well, you know," she's like, "It's a little concerning because we've had other complaints about you recently, and so the fact that this is a trend where we're being told that you're rude and you hang up on people on the phone." And I was like, "Okay, well, sorry about it. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I wasn't being rude, but okay." And they're like, "Well, this is your first official verbal warning." And I was like, I think they expected me to be scared boots, but I like literally wasn't. I literally was like, "Okay." I was literally so chill about it. I was like, "Sure, girl, whatever."
Yeah, but also then Nick immediately texts me like, "I fucking hate this place. I'm leaving."
Well, that too. But also because I will have been there 3 years, literally next week. And so like
Same.
that it just has been like a huge kind of like wake up call to me, where I'm like, I've been at this place for 3 years. There's no loyalty. There's like really no support from upper level people, whether it's management, corporate, literally whatever. The owner, absolutely not. So it's like, why am I choosing to be in this environment where I'm being constantly ridiculed or like belittled or treated so poorly?
Belittling is a big word for this place because, it's like sometimes when you want your place of work to like have your best interest because you do a good job, sometimes I feel like people that are bad at their jobs and like to complain, it's just like, okay, like whatever. But like if you're only trying to look out for like the benefit of like wherever you work at, for example, it is like so jarring sometimes to know that unfortunately like in capitalist corporate America, like they'll just find somebody else to do your job for like cheaper, but even then it's just like appreciating like or understanding your value at any work environment that you have like is something that I've learned about myself in the last year, and which is the reason why like Nick knows I like to stir the pot at work a lot. But
oh god, a lot.
It's not just because I like drama, but also because like I will always like put myself first, second, and third, and I'm like, if they're not serving me, then like I'll definitely like put the cards down and I'll be like, well, this is what I bring to the table. So Miley was good, and Miley was good them just this past week about something that Nick is fully aware of. And guess what? I got what I want again because
I see it, I like it, I want it, I got it.
Thank
you, Ariana. Thank you.
So, needless to say, I guess to go after that little rant about work, we're trying to get out of this.
We're trying to get out of there, and listen, please help us. There are some prospects. We have been looking at other things.
Of course, we're doing things.
We have things in the works that are hopefully, knock on wood, will bring about some sort of change, mostly because I'm tired of restaurants, I'm tired of hospitality, I'm tired of just
but I did tell myself famously, this is my last restaurant job, and that's the reason why I've been at it for this long, and like I don't want to go anywhere else. Like I don't want to start at sometimes like starting at a new place seems like, and like I'm sure townspeople will relate, like whatever job you have, sometimes I feel like it feels safe and it feels comfortable staying in one place, but at the same time it's just like, just know your boundaries, like if you're ready for something new and ready to shake it up, things will work themselves out. And I am only sticking at this job for this long because I come from such a pattern of just always like escaping or leaving when the going gets rough. Like
I'm not like that at all. I stick it out.
Like I'm the first to just like, I'm gonna quit, I'm gonna go. Like, and so like with this job, it's just like, okay, I'm gonna take it for what it is, take the positives with it, you know, and just stick it out and make my life easier by having something steady. But you know, that goes both ways. Like the opposite of that is like if you feel like you're stuck at your job and you're uncomfortable and like everything's the same, you need something new, like don't settle for anything. I guess the morale here is like don't settle, just settle for what feels right for you.
Sure.
In a job environment, which I feel like, you know, but the reason why we ask you to subscribe and comment is because like we're really working on getting our asses out with this pod, you know, because people seem to be liking it.
Yeah, they do.
Speaking of, let's do this earlier than we do usually. Let's do some shout outs and like some stuff for some people because we love it, townspeople, when you get talked to us. This one was actually really hilarious, so we'll start with this. It was from a YouTube comment.
Oh, I saw this. So
funny. So at Nicole Brown 6643 said, I had to write a small paper about queer content creators and the influence they have on me as a straight female, and decided to mention the pod and how much I love you guys. So hopefully my professor is now a townsperson. LOL.
Period.
Hi, period. Oh my god, please. I cannot wait. You know, like how there's like there was like a Harvard college class on like Beyonce or Taylor Swift or whatever. Like I cannot wait for there to be a class about, you know, pioneers and trailblazers.
And they're gonna have a class separately being like how not to end up like Peru Flores. Like it's gonna be like a self-help kind of situation. They're like, don't end up like her.
It'll be like on the psychology branch, you know, like advanced like PhD level class. Like okay,
no, like they're gonna like come up with their own sort of like, you know, like the DSM-5. They're gonna add something to there that's gonna like be like, they're gonna call it the Peru Flores.
Peru Flores. Wow. But anyway, so hi townsperson Nicole, thank you for your comment. We love it. People like that.
They love.
Then shout out to Mari. Hi, I'm Mari, and I'm from Armenia. I wanted to hear you guys talk about the best parts of living in New York City. Love you guys in the pod so much. Hi, Armenia. Hi, Mari, townsperson. Love you. Oh, we got a new country on our globe, on our map.
We love.
Thrilling. Okay, I guess we can talk about that.
What are your favorite parts about living in New York?
My best part about living in New York City, besides all the dick and cock, which we will get to, because this week I've been a fucking Jezebel, bitches.
I love the public transportation. Not that it's underfunded, yes.
Underfunded.
But I do love having the access to public transportation and being able to walk out my door and just being able to hop on a train.
Yeah, because it's very good.
Because whenever I'm back home visiting family or whatever, like you drive everywhere. Like there's no public like there's a bus system, but oh girl, we won't talk about underfunded. My bus system in my hometown underfunded. Yeah. So like it's nice to know, like especially like on a night out when you're like drunk or like, you know, stoned or something, and like the idea sometimes where I'm like, I'm leaving a bar and I'm like so drunk out of my mind, I'm like, if I was living in a place where it was predominantly like cars, like mode of transportation, I would either one have to drive myself so I couldn't like go too hard, or two, I would have to get an Uber, which would be like so expensive because in the city it's so crazy, which is not one thing that I don't love about it. It's just how expensive it is to get a ride share.
Well, New York is the most expensive city in the world, as it has been declared yet again.
But I also love I just like being around a lot of people. Like I'm a very introverted person in like my day-to-day life, and I love my alone time, but I love knowing that there's so many people just like out and about and around, versus like if I'm like in the Midwest, like there's like no one around. Like you know what I mean? It's quiet when it's night. I guess
kindred spirits, if it's okay to say that anymore. Yeah, I think for me it's a little bit more vibey. You know, I just feel like people say this all the time, but like I really do like the unexpectedness of New York City in a way that like it in many other scenarios like it doesn't happen. Like I talked about this last week, but like for example, that little Netflix story I talked about, like only in New York City will that happen when you're out at a bar and somebody approaches you, or like even hanging out with my friend Robert. Hi, Robert.
Hi.
Like, you know, just being told, like, you know, within 24 hours, being like, hey, like, I got 2 lottery tickets to Broadway. Want to make it a Broadway day? Like, just
the arts,
but also like how like last minute something fun can happen. Like
For
sometimes
sure.
that happens during like Fashion Week when someone texts you, just like, hey, like I got like, you know, like I got added on the list for like this party. Do you want to come? And you're like, yes.
That just made me think of one of my biggest struggles was in high school. There'd be like movies that I would want to see that were like more so independent
Same.
or limited
Oh.
release, and I could not see them unless I drove like 45 minutes outside of town
Yeah.
to like go to like the nearest kind of like larger city to see it, versus like in New York we get everything.
Oh yeah, here's where they're doing the IFC on West 4th. Like if you're from New York City, oh, any fucking like international film that's oh, we get it automatically. We can be like, oh my god, I literally saw a trailer for a film. Let me go see if it's up. Literally, like 5 showings.
But it's also like so crazy. That being said, too, is speaking of IFC, there's a movie right now starring John Early, which I'm a huge fan of.
What's it called?
Stress Positions.
Stress Positions.
Directed by a woman named Theta Hamill, and oddly enough, she goes to my gym. Which is crazy. Which is again only happens in New York. Do you know who also goes to my
Only
gym?
New York.
Telfar Clemens.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've seen him a couple of times. I mean, he's not frequent because I'm sure he's out and about traveling and stuff.
Mhm.
But whenever he's in New York, he is at that gym, and I see him, and I'm like, oh my god, how do I get to model for him? How do I get a free bag? How do I get something?
Because I'm not gonna be paying for that.
Oh, but all those faggots in that gym are like, oh my god, Telfar,
Telfar,
how are you?
So Telfar, if you listen to the pod,
Hey girl.
hey girl. But I guess yeah, and just really, also I am a big food person, so
We can tell.
bitch. Oh, do you want to tell who ate 2 French toasts today, bitch?
I ate
Miley
one-
was good.
I ate 1.5. Thank you
Bitch
very
ate
much.
2.
I ate 1.5.
No, you ate both because I know I gave Dane half of my only French toast.
No, because I threw the other half out.
No, you didn't.
Yes, 'cause I was
You
full.
threw it down his throat.
I was full. And there's nothing wrong with that. Thank you very much.
So then tell me,
if I
bitch.
want
Don't fat shame me if you want to be fat shamed back.
Who said I was fat shaming?
You're just fatting me.
Fatting?
You're just fat. You're fat.
I'm what? I'm what?
You're fat. You're fat. You're
cancel.
fat.
You're over. You're fat phobic. You're done.
You're fat. What's it?
You just keep going over and over. You're fat. You're fat. You're fat.
You're fat. Tunnel of Vamp. You're fat. Tunnel of the Amp really is gonna be you're fat.
Sticks and stones may break my bones,
My dick is fat.
but words can never hurt me. As Christina Aguilera once said.
Who? Christina
Aguilera, you are beautiful no matter what
Name
they
3
say.
songs, bitch. Name 3 songs.
Dirty, beautiful, Candyman. Thank you. That was right off the top of my head too. I was nervous for a second. I didn't know if I was gonna get the third. I didn't know if I was gonna get third, but I did.
Oh my god! I think it's the mimosa. The mimosa is making us feel some sort of way.
Girl, I've barely drank mine and I feel nothing.
What? Really? Usually your first like.
Well, I ate a huge meal before we got here.
Yeah, 2 French toasts, plus half of my chicken sandwich and all of my fries. If you really want to go there, we could go there. Don't look at the time.
I was just looking to see.
It's 6:19. The amount of calories you have.
I was just looking to see how long you were calling me fat. It was 5 minutes. Yeah.
You started.
I never said fat.
Well, you started. You alluded. You fat alluded. Fat illusions.
Wow.
It was a fat illusion.
And there's nothing wrong with being fat. Thank you very much.
I'm on my chunkier side right now. I'll admit it. I'll say it.
That's crazy.
What? I'm on my chunkier right now.
I disagree, but
it's okay. I mean, from what I know about myself.
And that's fat phobia. That's fat phobia.
No, it's body dysmorphia.
And then also, which is caused because of the fat phobic culture we live in.
Well, yeah, and that's a societal problem, not me.
But change starts within.
When you're lost.
What's the next shout out?
Wait, no, I was finishing a thought and you fucking like made me forget.
You said you're a big food person.
Oh yes. Okay, so
You said that, not me.
As I was saying, I am a big food person. I wouldn't call myself a foodie because anyone who calls themselves a foodie is literally an
that makes me cringe. That makes me cringe.
If you put on your Tinder profile that you're a foodie, it's basically just like saying you like to breathe. Like, I like to walk. Well, oh, that might be ableist to say. Oops. But anyway.
That is actually ableist to say.
All I'm saying is that, like, I don't like calling myself
a foodie. So you're fatphobic and ableist? Do you want to add another one to it too? Let's get another one. You hate what? Who else do you hate?
Nick.
Oh, so
I'm Nick phobic.
You're done.
I'm done because I hate you.
You're done.
People like me in the town. Anyway, The reason why I
Really?
say
Really?
I like,
Where's the love? Where's the
oh
love?
my God.
Check the comments. Check the comments.
In the the comments are all Miss Peru because they know all of the DMs that we get is like hi Pioneer and Trailblazers, aka Peru because we know Nick doesn't read. So yeah.
But they know me well enough to know that I wouldn't be reading it.
All that is
So
tea.
yeah.
Anyway, to finish my goddamn thought, the reason why I like New York City too is because I like food and I like different types of cuisine. Unlike Nick, who will only eat chicken tenders and fries.
That is libel. Libel.
No.
Yes. I refute the allegations. I refute that.
But anyway, so like if I feel like I want to have some like good, like dim sum or like Chinese food, I want to go to Flushing.
I like Chinese food.
Okay, great. Then we're gonna go together.
Great.
And like if I want to have some good Indian food, I go to Midtown. Like if I want to have so there's little neighborhoods for all types of food here, and I do love the accessibility of like if I'm craving a specific type of food, I can just get it. Whereas if I'm like in Houston, you can still get that kind of diversity of food because Houston's actually pretty diverse food-wise. But like in West Texas, that wasn't the case. I'm sure in your hometown of Wisconsin, like you can't just get Thai food, like if you're feeling it.
We could get sushi. There was a sushi place, and there was. I'm trying to think. We had two separate. There were two separate Chinese restaurants. I'm trying to think of like. There's a lot of Mexican restaurants.
Well, yeah.
What else? What else was there? I think that's like really kind of the extent of like the international cuisine sort of going on in my hometown.
Actually, Mari, if you wanna like put a comment, if you're I don't know if you're a visual learner or if you listen, but let us know what kind of Armenian food is. That would be nice to know. I don't think I've ever had Armenian food. Sounds interesting.
Well, when we eat the rich, the Kardashians.
I will never eat my sisters. My
We
Kardashian
never?
sisters, no.
It's all silicone.
I didn't say anything. Kim, Chloe,
and girl, I love you down.
Love you
I
down.
love and support that BBL.
BBL life.
Okay, what's the next?
Anyway, so that was that, and I think. I did want to shout. Well, not even shout out, but I did want to bring up the fact that, and I guess this will lead us into our sex talks, because I got a message from Grindr. I was talking to somebody on Grindr, and then like blah blah back and forth, and then I was like, okay, so we're gonna do this, and then this person went, not gonna lie, kind of scared to end up on the podcast, so. LOL, joke's on you because you did end up on the podcast. But the thing is, when we talk about people, we like give them a nickname like, Sniffy's Twank or like DL Daddy, or like Wicked Guy. Like we're not going to go out and dox you. So,
well, actually, you do sometimes, and then I have to be like, wait, we got to cut that.
Oh, yeah, well, it's true. But then we cut it.
So actually,
like,
I think about you.
Oh, shut up.
She does not.
I guess what I'm trying to say is like, obviously this podcast is about having sex, and like maybe some of you have had sex with us or want to have sex with us, or like maybe we've shown interest. But
I never show interest.
As much as we are like so upfront and frank in like all the details of our sex lives, we're not telling you exactly who the people are. So I feel like there's like safety in fucking us. Unless you wrong us, then we'll air your asses.
I'll just cry.
Before we record, and then he feels empowered to talk about
then I'll talk shit. Wait, okay, let's get into the sex.
Okay, I'll start with you since yours the more like the more like baby one.
Wow. Okay.
Well, Nick, I did have sex this week, like literally, I think 6 times.
Okay, so that's crazy. I had sex once. So
it was 5. It was 5.
But was it all with different people? 5 different people?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, one was the same.
So
earlier in the week and then later this.
So you had sex with 4 people?
No, that was the 5th. Yesterday. Because I had sex with him like on Monday.
Wait, so you had sex 6 times, 5 different people?
5 times. 5 times this week.
5 times, but 4 different people.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I originally said. You said
I'm so
no.
sorry.
And you said no.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Believe people. Believe people when they say things. Believe white people. Thank you. No.
Fat.
So last week I worked during the day, and what I've been doing when I go to work is like if I work during the day, like if I work like the breakfast lunch shift, I'll bring like my gym clothes with me, and then I'll go for a run afterwards, because I usually don't feel like going to the gym post work. Like that's just like too much to like have to go all the way home, change, and then go to my gym, or like go to a gym that's nearby like the restaurant. So it's been really beautiful too, like the last couple of weeks, like when I work during the day. So I'm like, let me just go for a run, take in the sights, take in the scene, like whatever. I'll get my cardio and it'll be beautiful. Oh my god.
Oh god.
I don't know if you can hear, but there's a car.
Small dick parade.
They're revving the engines. And so then anyway, so I went for a run after work last week, and I did like 5 miles. I was so sweaty. Like I like came back, I like changed back into like my normal clothes or whatever, and then I was kind of horny. And so I was like, okay, I have a joint in my bag. I was like, I could either smoke that now or I could go on a hookup. Cuz like as soon as I start smoking, like I literally lose any sort of desire to like actually make it like a hookup happen. Like unless like that person is going to be like coming to my apartment, coming to me, like I'm tired. Like I'm just going to chill. So I didn't smoke. So then I was like, I sat in this kind of like outdoor area by the restaurant. We were just like taking in like the day. It was like so gorgeous outside. And this profile on Grindr messages me, and we've talked like briefly on and off before, like very like short spurts. Like nothing ever happened. We never really made plans to hang out, because I showed Peru his profile. He low-key looks like a serial killer. Like the way that he was like in his like mid to late 30s, honestly like late 30s, early 40s.
I think it was that.
And so, and he was a man who is has very chiseled features, but like the way that he took photos of himself, I could not tell if he was a meth user or not.
It was giving like Ronan Farrow.
Yeah, it's giving like Ronan Farrow, like very like strong features, and like,
who, by the way, I thought looked really hot on RuPaul's Drag Race.
I love that for you.
I thought so.
You know, good for you, girl. Good for you. I mean, he's not my type, but good for you. So then this man, he like sends me his nudes or whatever, and he's like, oh, I'm working from home right now. I'm like a little distracted, kind of like horny. And I was like, oh, really? And he was like, yeah, what are you doing? I was like, well, I just finished a run, so I'm like kind of sweaty. And he was like, perfect. Do you want to come over? And I was like, okay. I just thought we were going to be sucking dick. Okay? Because mind you, before I went on my run, I took the fattest shit of my life. It was like I had a moment where I was like, why does my stomach kind of hurt? And I was like, wait, let me go to the bathroom really quick. I've been on my fiber game, and thank you.
Oh, we were just talking about that earlier.
Which we're talking about, and so because I got back on fiber, girl, we've been a little bit more regular than normal, and so when I go, the shits are usually like much more compact. You know, when I go to wipe, there's usually not much to clean up afterwards, and so it's like great. So I'm a little bit more confident when I'm in the bedroom, getting that dick slang on like in my hole, kind of thing. And so but I wasn't anticipating, because mind you, I did not shower. I had a dirty butt because I shat, went on a run, so my butt is dirty and sweaty. Those two things. So then I go to this man's apartment because he lives like literally a couple blocks from where I was currently at. So I get there. He lives in like a nice building, like whatever. I wasn't worried. Like, yes, he looked like a serial killer, but I was like, he's kind of hot. I'll just suck his dick and I'll leave. Because the dick was nice. Mm-hmm. He sent me like the vote. It was good. So I get there. He welcomes me into his apartment. He is so normal. He looks not like a serial killer in real life. Mm-hmm. It's just he does not know He just does not know how to take selfies of himself, which is a lot of men in that age range don't know how to take photos of themselves in a normal way. Like a selfie.
Listen, that photo also looked like an Android photo, and it's so
that
funny
too. Android with the kind of like and then being like a late 30s, early 40s man. That combination.
Bad combo.
It's
and let
not
me just say, anybody out there who's just like, yeah, but Androids have the better cameras. Well, I guess you're not using it correctly, because every fucking photo I see from an Android on fucking Grindr or any fucking hooking up or dating app is bad.
Because it only looks good to other Android phones, girl.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, because like that's how it is. Like I swear to God, because I've never seen an Android like image look good. I had one Android phone as my first phone, and the image is bad. Mm-hmm. But like as soon as you get on an iPhone, girl, like if you look at other Android photos from like an Android phone, it looks normal. It looks fine. But girl, we know, we can tell.
We know.
So then anyway, so he seemed kind of nervous that I think he was like a little intimidated by me. I was taller than him.
Why?
I was taller than him. And like,
you love a shorty.
I'm coming to learn about myself. I guess I do like the short kings.
You love a short king.
I'd never really thought that about myself as that being my type, but I guess it is.
Not saying much. The last few that you've like fawned over have been short kings.
I know, because I kind of want to be mommy to them in like a weird way. Like I'm like, let me take care of you.
And then lick my tits.
And then fuck me hard.
Fuck me hard.
Fuck me hard till I lactate. Ooh. And so then I like get into his apartment. He's like asking me. He was like, oh, like he's like, you have so much stuff with you. Just like went on a run. And I was like, well, I was left all my stuff at work, girl. Like I changed obviously. And he was like, oh. We started making out. He was a really good kisser. We started undressing. Literally, he like strips me down and just starts sucking me off like in like the little kind of entryway. And I was like, work. And so he's sucking my dick, whatever. And then he like gets up and then like takes me to his bedroom where he's got like lube and a towel and everything all set up. And I was like, oh, I was like, I didn't think we were gonna be fucking.
Which is also like, if someone sets it up like that reminds me like oink oink, like oink guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like the setup sometimes makes it look a little bit too like sterile, you know, almost like a doctor's office is like, oh, you set it up looking like a fucking like clinic.
But it didn't really look like that because like it wasn't like, because his bed was like unmade. He just like threw the towel on the bed. And then also the lube bottle, I have never seen a lube bottle that looked like that. It was like, you know, those like you know,
the
like
Swiss Army ones.
No, like, you know, like how like some ketchup bottles.
Oh,
where it's like
was it an extra big like Astroglide?
It was like big, but like it had like a cone cap, and it was like I don't know how to describe it.
Are you sure it wasn't ketchup?
Like you know like those like in like in a restaurant, or like when you see in movies like old timey things where they like have the ketchup and it's like that solid
the ketchup,
red bottle.
like the yellow and red is just like blue
and
in the
solid,
top,
and it's got like a little cone kind of like nozzle.
Yeah, the white nozzle.
It was like that, but like a clear lube bottle. I've never seen something like that before. Whoa. And I was like, oh, okay. He was sucking my dick so good. I was like, oh my god. And so what we did, so then we got into his room, and then he like got in his bed.
When you get your dick sucked, because again, you're a mommy, you're like lactating, you're like lactate me, but are you like, do you turn kind of like mask when you're getting your dick sucked?
No.
Because when I get my dick sucked, and it's happened a couple times this week, which is also like a surprise, which I guess is welcome, but nothing necessary at all. I start being like, I like running my fingers through their hair and stuff. And
I do that.
Like, but that kind of stuff to me like brings out the more masculine elements of myself. So if I'm ever getting like a head, like I will like run my fingers through the guy and then just be like, yeah, that's good. Fuck yeah. I start being a little bit more like manly, I guess.
I don't get more manly.
And then I pound it out and I'm like, eh.
No. I like run my fingers through their hair or whatever. But I'm usually like giving like words of encouragement, like, oh,
words of affirmation.
No, I'm always like, oh yeah, that feels so good. Keep doing that. Oh my god. Like I'm still like soft and like feminine.
No, when I get ribbed, I'm feminine. I'm like,
No, okay. So I was like in his dick. So we get into his room, and then like I push him. He gets onto the bed, and I'm like in between his. Well, I was like kneeling on like the floor, and he was like leaning on the bed, and I was like sucking his dick, whatever. And then he wanted to do 69s. Then I got up, and he was sucking my dick so good, girl. And then it got to the point where he like moved around to eat my ass. Mind you, took the fattest shit of my life, and also sweaty as fuck.
You didn't go to the bathroom to at least just freshen up?
He didn't give me the opportunity to say anything. Next thing I know, I was gonna be like, oh, maybe don't. He was going on my asshole. Got that shit so fucking wet so fucking quick.
Some guys like
No, I think he was into it, because when I was like, oh, like I went for a run and I'm like sweaty, he's like, perfect.
Oh, I like it when the guy's just like, I'm leaving the gym, is that okay? And I'm like, yes.
So he was like going to town on my ass, and it felt so good. Girl, you will never believe, I came from him eating my ass.
What?
He was like alternating between like eating my ass and then would like suck my dick from the back. and like,
you're gonna get an infection on your dick.
Well, like we're good. We're good. But then like he like did, because he'd be like jerking me off while he was eating my ass, and then there was a point where he like let go of my dick, and then he was like going back to town and like eating it like hard, and like I was like kind of like. It felt really good. I've never, like, he was one of the best ass eaters that I've had in a minute. And so, like, I was on his bed, and I was, like, you know, like, squirming or whatever, and my dick was, like, kind of, like, rubbing on the bed a little bit, but I was so horny, like, from that, I literally was, like, and I literally came.
What?
Like, just hands-free. I was, like, trying to stop it. I was, like, trying to, like, clench my body and be like, okay, don't come yet. But then I fully came. I didn't tell him, because, like, because I was like, well, maybe I'll come again. I was like, you know, maybe whatever. I was like, I'll just get him off or whatever. Or I thought he like maybe could tell, because like I fully like came on his sheets, like whatever, because I came a lot. And then next thing I know,
you're a big comer.
And next thing I know, he's putting his dick in my ass, and I was like, and he then started fucking me, and it was so good. He was
You were like,
he was like pounding me, and then he flipped me over on my back and was just like kept going. He came inside me, and like he bred me, hit his babies, ooh, and then he kept fucking me afterwards for like a couple of minutes, because I think he thought that, like, I don't think at that point
you hadn't come yet.
Yes, and because then he was like still fucking me, and I was just like touching his body. I'm like, yeah, and I was like, well, maybe we'll just go again until he comes the second time. And then we fucked for a while afterwards, and then like he was like jerking me off at some points, and then like I think he realized that I had already like finished or something, and then we like were done basically, and then we were like getting up, and he was like asking me questions. He's like, so where do you work? And I was like telling him, and I was like, if you ever need a reservation, I'm your guy. And he was like I love that place. And I was like, really? And then he's like, wait, what? And then I started filling him in on like all the tea, being like,
wow.
and I was like, it's the Applebee's of this neighborhood. And he was like, oh, I see. And I was like,
girl, I'm sure Applebee's runs a much tighter shift than
I'm sure.
idiot said.
And then as I'm leaving,
wait, I think you said the name of the restaurant.
no, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
And then so then as we're I'm like getting my stuff out, like in like the living room kind of like entryway area, there's this black cat that is just like sitting by my stuff, and I saw it and I was like, oh, and he goes, oh, that's my cat. I cannot remember for me, like the life of me, like what he said her name was. And I was like, oh my god, I was like, she's so sweet. And he was like, yeah, she's on her last leg. And I was like, oh, I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, she's 22, she refuses to eat. And I was like,
22?
I was like, oh my god. She's like, yeah, she's gonna die soon. And I was like, and then he's like, aren't you, sweetie? Aren't you gonna die soon? And then like started petting her in front of me. And this cat,
he is a serial killer.
It was like kind of weird. And then I was like, oh. And then he was like, but he was like really sweet. Otherwise, and the cat seemed really nice. And he's like, normally she's really friendly. He's like, I don't know what's going on with her. And I was like, well, she does look like she's gonna die. So like she was like literally like so thin, scraggly, and like it was like concerning. And he was like, yeah. And then I left, and then I smoked a joint outside the building, and then this, like, did I tell you this? The DoorDasher came up to me and was like, and then this DoorDasher comes up to me. He did not speak that much English, and he was like on his bike, and he like just points to his phone, and he was like showed me the address, and he was like it's this. And then I was like, oh, it's the building right there, and like pointed behind us, and he was like, oh, okay. And then he goes towards the building. 30 seconds later, comes right back, and he goes, pointing at his phone screen again, being like, where's this? And I was like, no, right there, right behind you. And at that point, the girl who like had ordered had come out, and she goes, is that for Jen? For Jen, please? And then like he was like, huh? Anyway, gave her order, and then came back and was like, thanks, man, and gave me a fist pump. And I was like, yeah, diva, have a good day. And then I smoked my joint, and I went home, and then I pushed his kids out in the toilet when I got back. And then he did not message me ever again.
Did you touch base?
I looked at his profile. He didn't look at me like that.
Well, two of the guys that I had sex with, one I had been trying to get to sleep with for a bit, and then it finally happened.
Is this the one that... Which one is this one?
The one that you may have also interacted with.
Yes! Do you know where I saw her last night?
Where?
On the Motto, like whatever their version of like the Meet Right Now thing is, where everyone just like posts their dick pic. She was on there.
You saw her?
I saw her.
It's good.
Well, it wasn't her dick; it was just a face photo. But I know the dick because I got the dick pic. I got the full album on Grindr.
Yeah.
I got the dick pic.
Now, interesting because this guy has two different profiles, and he said he had deleted one, but then like I somehow found I had started his previous one after he had talked to me on a new one, and I was like, do you just have like two separate ones? Which was really interesting for me to find out. Both of them don't have his face photos on it. He like sends them to the ones that he wants to like interact with or whatever. But really interesting.
Wait, will you hand me the mommy juice?
Oh yeah. Wait, hold on. Break.
I need a refill. Oh my god, excuse me.
Do you just want the bubbles? Yeah, right?
Well, I want some oranges too.
You do?
Yeah, girl, it's mimosa season.
It's mimosa season? That's your slow, right? You're like, it's
mimosa season. You need my mimosa. Wait. That's good, okay. Okay, we're back.
We're back. Well, the trend for me is, so I've had sex 5 times this week, which was... The reason
is your hole not tired?
No, my hole's
does she hurt?
Like, she doesn't hurt, and here's the reason why my hole doesn't hurt by Peru Flores. One, the fiber has been fibering. Y'all, I got back on the fiber game strong, and last time I got back on fiber, quote unquote, I took it slow. Like I was doing like 2 in the morning, because sometimes like if you do, for those of you that are not, familiar with fiber or have been trying to, experiment with fiber, and like it helps with your bowel movements, but also helps them be more compact. So if you're a gay guy who wants to bottom or try to bottom, or if you're a girly or whoever, if you just want to use your butt for sex, a good way to like feel more confident is, I don't think we ever talked about this actually.
Actually, we did, because I think I talked about getting back on fiber a couple of episodes ago.
Well, anyway, so I went back on it full, and I didn't take it easy. I went and it.
Are you doing the Pure for Men? Is that what you're doing?
I'm doing the brand, yes.
Girl, you could literally. Do you see those 2 big bottles that I have over there? Those
I understand.
You
but
could get that in bulk.
Yes, but the ingredients and the things that they use for Pure for Men, inherently they do have some other stuff that help with digestion or whatever. But listen, I don't care. I just like the convenience of it. Listen, I'm not rich. I'm not here saying I'm rich. Please like and subscribe. Please comment. But
says the girls who listened to that last episode where you said you had a private park in your neighborhood.
That was a few episodes ago. That was when I was fucking 12, okay? That was in Peru.
I'm not wealthy. Had a private park
in Peru. In fucking Peru.
Some of us didn't have that.
Listen, whatever. I'm poor. Please help me. Okay.
She's lying, Your Honor.
Back on. I'm not lying. Back on fiber, and it really somehow, I guess, that tagged along with like the things I've been eating or not eating or whatever. Like this week, my bowel movements have been good. Like good, concise, good to go. And like you said, like the cleanup, it's not that much. And sometimes you're just, like, because when you're when you're a regular, you're not feeling that good with your number 2. Sometimes it's just like, oh my god, like that didn't feel like,
You're not feeling good with your number 2.
Really good with your number 2. Style of F. So that's been good. Now the second part of this, is why I've been having so much sex, is that 4 out of the 5 times I've had sex this week has been with penises that have been of average to adequate size. Meaning, 4 out of the 5, yes, I guess technically so, 4 out of the 5 were like 7-inch. And a couple of those were girthy, and they were good. Actually, all of them were pretty good, pretty great. One of them was a surprise sneak attack, like 8.59, that I did not expect, because I didn't really quite double check with the person. But so all the times that I've been having sex this week, I've just been like, oh, Nick said that he likes to start writing. I've been writing, and I've been doing the writing where like both of your legs are up and you're just bouncing up and down like it's like a pogo stick, I'm just like, wah!
That one's hard on the knees.
It is. Oh, mama, let me tell you, the one from yesterday. So he had me come over to his place because he had come to this is the one repeat. So I had him like early in the week.
Which one's the repeat?
I think I showed him to you. He's lawyer guy. He's this lawyer guy. Looks like regular, whatever. I had no idea. He's the one that like the first time that we had sex, like a poppy slipped out from me. Like I just like organically said poppy, an organic poppy.
Oh, this one.
Organic poppy. Tell all that. Because I literally was like getting pounded from him, and he had come over. Oh my god! I gotta tell you the ah! So he came over to my place. He was wearing his workout clothes. From the moment we started making out...
Is this the first time or the second time?
The first time.
Okay.
From the moment we started making out, I could tell he was wearing his glasses. And I could tell that little, like, smell. The, like, wet smell. You know that wet smell?
What is wet?
Like that wet, the, like, musky smell. When things smell like wet.
Sure.
You know what I'm talking about.
Like a wet towel?
Like a wet towel that's just been, like when you leave like a wet towel in the dryer and it's just been left damp for too long, that wet smell.
Okay.
Anybody watching this?
I don't have in-unit washer and dryer because I'm what? Not rich.
But you
unlike
rich.
some people.
I am not rich. is the perk of my apartment.
Say that to the in-unit washer dryer.
Shut up. Anybody watching this, you know what I mean when I say the smell of like musty wet. Like when somebody smells like wet, you know what I'm talking about.
Smells like wet.
Yes, like when you leave something out that's wet and it dries up and it just smells like wet. It's that smell.
I don't know why, but you could.
Smells like wet.
It smells like wet is so fucking funny to me. I don't.
It does. And you pretending like you don't know what I mean. It's just
No,
that, like,
I get what you mean, but also just like it's such a silly phrase.
no, it's not.
It smells like wet.
It does. It smells
Title
like
of
wet.
It smells like wet.
Smells like wet. Title of app. And so he
Continue.
he was smelling like wet, and I was like, and I typically like don't like that smell. So I thought I was like, oh, he's wearing his workout clothing. Maybe it's just because like maybe like he didn't wash his like workout clothes properly. Maybe it didn't dry right, so it just smells kind of musty. So I was like, whatever. And then he took his clothes out, and like he kind of had that scent going on, but whatever. I kind of got over it. And then when he was pounding me out, I intentionally said "Papi." I was like, "Oh yes, Papi." And then when I said "Papi," girl, his fucking eyes were open. Like he heard Papi, he was like, boing, and then he just got real into it. And I was like, oh yeah, call me Papi again. And then I come to realize when he DM'd me on Grindr after we had sex, he in Spanish started grinding me and messaging me, and I was like, okay, not the white boy with the Spanish. He was like fluent in Spanish, so you know the guy likes the Browns. And so,
well, maybe he's from a country. Maybe he's a white Spaniard.
I don't think he is. He white. But anyway, so he was like, yeah. And so the entire time leading up to yesterday, we have been talking all week, and we have like been DMing dirty stuff in Spanish. So he was like, oh yeah, leche, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God. And so I was like, okay. So finally I met him yesterday, and then he had me come over to his place this time. He was like, want to meet at 10 p.m., but then like I was being nasty to him in Spanish, and he was like, oh my God, I cannot wait. You're going to have to come over now. And I was like, okay. So I went over to his place, and he was like, and this leads into the other guy I had sex with. So he was like, the door's open, just come in through the hallway, go all the way down the hall to the right in the living room, and I'll be waiting for you. And I was like, okay. So I go into the living room, and he's just like, and he told me to wear a thong.
Did you like strip before, like, as you're walking in?
Oh, I was like taking my shit off because he was like, I'm home alone, and I was like, okay, great. So as soon as I got there, like I was already like just like in the thong and like my sweatshirt, and then he was just like in the living room, didn't even say a word. He was just like touching himself, and he wanted to do the whole thing where like he was like in control and whatever. So he got me like get on my knees, and I took off his shorts and whatever, and then I tried taking off my thong. He was like, no, this is for me. Like, this session is for me. You're gonna get me off first. And I was like, okay. So then he like had me sit on him on the couch, and he had like this like, you know, like there's like wall to like floor, like a wall to ceiling kind of like mirror thing, like just leaning, you know.
Oh, okay, yeah,
in his living room. And so I could see ourselves like on the couch as I was like sitting on him, and then he was like, don't take your thong off, I'm just gonna slide it off. So like he had like that fetish for like, you know, just like sliding off the string of the thong so you could fuck me.
And like while you're doing doggy, he's like holding on to it.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, and I was like, okay,
and you're like, me pussy.
And I was like, oh no, in Spanish.
Well, what is that in Spanish?
What do you think?
I don't know Spanish, mama. I took French in high school.
Oh my God, do you know how to say pussy in French?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
that was not something they taught at my Catholic high school. Thank you very much. They're not going to teach us how to say pussy.
Well, anyway, I will not be fucking him again because unfortunately his whole apartment smelled like wet. I did not like it. I could tell like he's either not doing his laundry properly, but I just did not like it. So the entire time I was trying
to host. Why don't you just host him?
No, I just didn't like it. And the first time was a little bit sexier because I could tell that he was like naturally into it. It was almost like this episode of Sex and the City when like the guy was hitting on Miranda at the gym, and she like looked all ugly and sweaty, and he was like, "You're so sexy." And she was just like, "Well, I don't know why you could think I was so sexy." And then next time she was just like, "Oh my God, I love my life. I love my friends. She was acting too sexy. And so I could tell that this guy, the second time that we fucked, he was feeling himself too much about it. And I was like, "Well, you lost your sex appeal. Like now you're just being." Now you're just playing a character, and it doesn't feel organic, you know? Like, he didn't let me kiss him. He was like, no, get on your knees. Don't stop doing this. And
you
I was
didn't
like,
kiss?
no.
I love girl. If you're not gonna, I don't like sex if we're not.
I
Gonna
know,
kiss.
which was part of the vibe. I get it, but like that would have been sexier if that had been established organically from the get-go, you know. But the sex experience I got with him the first time was completely different than the second.
Sure.
So the second just felt like, oh, you're just putting up an acting. Like he wasn't really pulling it off. Unfortunately, he was no Glenn Close in the sheets. I'll tell you that.
Wow, drag him.
Title of that, Glenn Close in the sheets. So many titles of options and potentials for title of that today. Anyway, mind you, talk about guys who like want to play a role. The other 4 times I had sex this week have all been at my place. Can you believe? I've been wilding out.
Well, you've been hosting a lot recently.
I've been hosting a lot. One of my other roommates, like I said, her dad passed away. All my thoughts and prayers.
No, rest
for her.
in peace.
Rest in peace. And then the other guy, Cole, well, I guess my other roommate has also not been in the apartment. So it's just me and the Italian girl that's been subleasing the apartment, who's very sweet. And her room is at the very end of the hall. And I know she has lab because she's here for school.
Uh-huh.
So she's going to school from like 9 to 6. And she's like really intense lab sessions. So I know I'm home alone. Mm-hmm. And so I've been having a lot of guys during the daytime. This one guy was like, hey, I want to come with the one that we have, our mutual guy.
The mutual nudes.
Mutual guy was, I will tell you, he's one of those that like photographs cute, but he showed up and he looked sexy. He was sexy. He was like 6 foot.
Wait, I'm going to have to hit him up.
He's mine. He had scrub.
Not for long.
And he was like, oh my God, yeah, can I come over and like breed you now? And I was like, yeah. He was like, are you home alone? And I was like, yeah. Because he was like, because I want to hear you moan and scream. And I was like, yeah.
He said that?
Yeah. So his...
Wait, really?
I know. He doesn't look like it, but he is.
I'm gonna message.
Oh, no. You best not.
No, we can be like, vote. Who do you think was better?
No! We put it up for... We bring it with the guests.
That's the interview we do. Who was better at sex? We both fuck the same dude. Oh. Comment down below if you want to see it.
But anyway, so I knew that there was nobody home. But one time, Italian roommate, I was having sex with wet smell guy earlier in the week. And then the reason why he wanted me to come over to his place is because we in the middle of sex, I heard my roommate come in and close the door. And so like I always have music playing, but like, you know, I was like, oh, I heard her, so I wasn't like yelling or anything. And so he was like, oh, next time come to my place because I'll be alone. And so I knew there was a risk that like my roommate could be coming home for like her lunch break or just get her lunch, because my roommate came in and left like 5 minutes after. So I think she just forgot something or was getting whatever. So, oh my God, he was like ass up. And I told you, like, I've never done ass up. And so I was like, wait, am I going to wild out today and do ass up? Like, in the hopes that my roommate doesn't come in as I'm ass up. Because the whole thing for ass up is, like, you just tell them to come in. How will I know it's him and not my roommate coming in?
Your ass is facing the door. You're like, yeah, you want it? You want it?
My ass, and people have to walk through by my room to go past the living room and then to their rooms, because my room is the first one in the apartment. So whenever he said, I was like, okay, I'm alone. And he was like, can we do ass up? Can I find you ass up? And I was like, yeah. But like in my head, I was like, oh my God, I hope my roommate doesn't come.
This is the one that we both have talked to?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he wanted you ass up?
Oh, and that guy is kink. He's bitch. I'm telling you, you would never know from his photo. You would never know. In a good way. Because he's cute in his photo. He's cute. He's a good looking guy, contemporary. But in person, he's sexy. Sexy. So I'm like, all right, let's hope this guy's worth it. So like, I prepped my dog Clover with a treat in the living room. I'm just like, Clover, here's your treat.
Like, sweetie, stay away.
Stay away, please. Because then I know, I was like, all right, here's my door code. Come in through the first door on the left as soon as you come in.
Oh, you gave the door code.
Yeah, the door, because how else was it going to come in? I can't
leave your door unlocked. Oh, I see.
So I was like, okay, so come in quickly before my dog finds you, because if my dog finds you, he's going to want you to play with him, and I give him a treat. So as soon as you enter the code, come right into the left. So I was like, all right, it's my first time doing ass up. I'm going to commit to the bit. So I literally got like naked and I got myself ass up on the bed. And then he was like, here, let me know when I can come in, devil emoji. And I was like, okay. So So I didn't know if he told me he was here as if he was walking in or if he was at the door. So as soon as I said, like, you can come in, I heard the door open and I was like, oh my God, please, God, let it be fucking ass up guy and not my roommate. Because I was literally, the door was wide open and I was ass up.
Were you on your bed?
I was ass up.
Oh, but they wouldn't have seen it had they like peeked in. You know what I mean? If they were just like came in the door and just like went straight to their room.
But I mean, the door's open. What naturally do you do when you see a door open? You just like peek in. I would have been like, hey, Roberta, what's up?
Hey, girl.
Hey. Should I take her name out? No, whatever. So he comes in and I see him from like the fucking like, you know, like this. I look back at him as he comes in. When I tell you, Nick, I had no idea that ass up could be so hot.
I've never done that before.
Because
I physically cannot do it.
When I looked back and he came in, he was wearing his baseball cap and he was wearing like and then he looked and he smiled. It was so sexy. He like smiled and like literally started ripping his clothes off. And I was like, this is so sexy. Closed the door. As soon as he closed the door, he like stood there and just like started like looking at my ass and like touching my ass. And I was literally just like, this is actually really hot. And then he was like fucking touching my ass and just like, oh, he was like making like noises and stuff. And then he got fully naked. And guess what? He grabbed his baseball cap and put it back on.
That's hot. I'll give you that. I'll let you have that one.
Not even in, because then he's like licking my, you know, he's like eating me out, and I was like, oh my God, it's the first time I'm ever just like, wow, like I haven't even, because I love to eat the dick first, you know, as soon as they come in, like I just want to suck dick, but he was rimming me first, and I was just like, oh my God, that's what he wanted. And then as soon as he was done, I turned around and I was like, hey, and I was like, my name is Peru, what's yours?
You didn't even get the name before he came over?
And then he told me his name, and I was like, well, nice to meet you. And he's like, nice to meet you too. And then I went down and started sucking his cock, and his dick was so much better than the photo, bitch. It was like,
well, and in the photo it looks good too, so
bitch. I am literally having a seizure right now. Because
wait, I'm literally gonna message him.
I was literally like, I was on my stomach sucking his dick, and then I got on my back and started sucking his dick. And he has that kind of like Smiley guy from a couple weeks ago. He had the same energy as Smiley guy, but Smiley guy was a little bit too like charming in like a Broadway actor way. This guy had a smile that was just sexy. Like he was just like he knew he wanted to fuck me bad. And like, girl, we fucked. Like, I needed poppers for that one too, because I was like, oh my God, like he was much girdier than I thought he was.
I need to get poppers. I'm like,
girl, I need to refresh mine. And anyway, so like he like kept fucking me, and at one point like he was fucking me, and like he changed the position of his baseball cap, so it went from like facing one way to another as he was fucking me. And that's the when I told him, I was like, record, please, I need to have this recorded. So then we started recording, and it was so good.
Did you talk about it before he came over, like recording?
No, and that's the thing. Like, I told him, do you want to? Because my phone was right in the bed, and he was like, yeah. And I was like,
Did you send it to him?
I haven't though, but because I want to use it as like a, because I did reach out to him a couple days ago and he didn't respond back. So like because he was telling me what he was gonna do, and I wanted him to fuck me again because I was like, that was so sexy. But I haven't heard from him. But it's okay. I'm gonna get it.
It's my time to swoop in.
No,
it's my time to swoop in.
No, I'm gonna maybe tonight. I'm gonna be like, hey, I wanna send him the video of it.
No, if I get there first.
Again. No, are you coming home with me now? Wow.
I'm gonna go home with you. Yeah.
And then the other guy was good. He was.
I'll be like, I'm hosting at your apartment. Could you imagine? I'm like, here's the address, and he's gonna be like, what?
He's like, wait, what's going on?
You're in the living room with Clover.
I'm like,
I gave her a treat. Don't worry. I'm ass up. That'd be so fucking funny.
Ass up. Anyway,
I can't do that because that's my building. I have to go physically down to the front. Well,
me too. So
no. I have to go physically. Oh, actually, yeah. How did he get into the?
Because he was able to get in. I was like, I can really do ass up because I have to come down and get you. But since the daytime has a lot of traffic in my building,
So it just like happened to work out.
The chances of him
What? So you just were like wait outside till someone comes out?
No, I told him if you want to do ass up, just wait. Exactly. And then if it takes too long, then I'll just come down and get you. But I ended up getting lucked out, and like somebody else was coming out, and he came in.
That's not how my building works because there's only 2 other apartments, and one of them is my landlord, and the other one is her family members, and they're usually not home during the day. So like I actually have to go down to the front door and unlock it and let the person in like to the building to be able to come in.
Yeah.
So I would never be able to do ass up unless it was like, wait, I guess I could leave the front door just like unlocked, but it's like that's whatever. But then my front door,
you just leave it unlocked. Just leave it like open.
I mean, I guess, but like
you could. I mean, it's not a big building either. There's not that much traffic. You could
I'd
really
only ever do that.
it.
I would only ever do that with like a boyfriend, I think.
No, it was just I had never done it, and I never really found it appealing to me. I actually roasted that before, like 10 episodes ago here or something. But like after
now you're changing your tune.
After having done it with the right person too, you know, like because this guy was not only like cool and friendly, but he was also sexy and like.
I know who I would do it with.
Oh, I know, but that ain't never gonna happen. So
stop! It is gonna happen. It is gonna happen. I'm manifesting. Right now's a really good time to manifest. The girlies are saying, speaking into existence, and that's me speaking into his existence.
And then the other guy had sex with two other guys. One was NYU Daddy, who was a repeat offender, but this time without his partner. It was just him, and it was an afternoon fuck. I came over to his place down and around the NYU area, and he made me a drink, and like we fucked on his kitchen counter, and then like we went back.
That's hot.
It was so hot, and then we recorded the whole thing. I've just been just like my like feeling myself era this week. Like I've just been wanting to like watch back and be like, that was good. Like I'm just watching back to give myself pointers. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe not do your mouth like that. Maybe do it like this. Maybe yeah, I'm gonna give myself pointers.
No, good for you, girl. Good for you. Happy for you.
And then this other guy was another contemporary who had been like, oh, this is the one that I was going to tell you really quickly. We had sex at night. He came over. He was very like unassuming and kind of meek almost, but like really cute and that kind of like he didn't think he was sexy, but he was like nerdy sexy. And then the dick was huge. I was not anticipating it from the photo. He only sent me one photo, but all his like face photos that he had on his profile were cute enough, and I've been trying to get him for a bit. So when he finally said, I want to come over, I live across the street, he came over. And then I was like, girl, I'm gonna need poppers for this, and he didn't have lube.
Which you famously don't like to use.
What?
Which you don't like to use.
No, I do like to use lube. It's the wicked guy who didn't like to use lube.
No, but you're always like spit.
I'm fine with it, but like I like to use lube, especially if it's a big dick. Like I need lube.
Oh, well, I need a lube at
so
all
I need
times.
to. I need
doesn't
to
even matter if it's just average.
But the thing is, like, I never have lube on me. I always ask Tops to get it. And so when he came over,
just have your own.
I need to have my own just for them. I do. I need. That's something I'm gonna change now after this. But we had sex, and I was like, wow, like I've been trying to, and I was trying to be funny, you know, at the end because he was like really for like a nerdy and assuming kind of guy, like. He wasn't there to like fuck me. He was there to fuck, but like I was kind of taking charge of the whole fucking situation, which was nice. It was still really good. It was hot because he had a nice penis. But then at the end, he had to like edge me to the end of the bed because like his dick had to enter me in a way for it to go all the way in. I had to be in a certain position. So I was, and you were like, but then I did it with no lube, mind you, just with like spit.
Oh,
and, like,
I would be.
poppers.
It'd be Fisher City,
and I was
asshole.
so proud of myself. I was just like, wow, look at me doing it with no lube for this like huge cock. And then when he was,
do you want an Olympic medal for that?
Yeah, there should be. The fucking bottoming is an Olympic sport. Title of that. And so
not everything can be a title of that.
Shut up. So we were done, and then I was trying to be funny because he was just like being kind of awkward and just like laying on me and like kissing me, and I was like, okay, he's like a contemporary, you know, he's just like, okay, like awkward, what do we do after sex? So I was just trying to talk to him, and I was like, so like I've been trying to fuck you for a long time, like what's taking this long, you know, that was so good, like why have you been like leading me on for like the past week and a half, like why you know finally.
Oh, I would never say that.
Yeah,
I would never address it. We've been talking forever, I'd be like,
yeah,
okay, bye.
I was like, why now? Like, what made it? He was like, well, today. And then he was like, and then I was like, oh, get over yourself. Because he was like, yeah, well, this whole week I've been struggling with, you know, like, am I using sex as a way to, like, deal with, to like not do something else and not deal with something else? So, and I was like,
Using
what do you
sex as a form of self-harm.
Yeah,
We've been there. We've been there.
And I was like, oh, he was like, yeah. So like the few times that we were talking, I was like, okay, well, do I want to go fucking because I'm horny, or do I want to go fucking because I'm trying to like not think of something else? And then I was like, oh, interesting. He's like, yeah. So like for like my mental health, I was just trying not to fuck.
Good for him.
And I was like, boring, yawn.
You would.
I was like, if you're horny,
You
you're fucking
would.
horny. But he was like, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out. I want to fuck for the right reasons. And I was just like, okay.
Snaps to that.
Whatever. I found it kind of like a little bit just like, you literally just came inside me. You could have come inside me a few nights ago. It only takes 15 minutes. I guess you don't want to use sex as a coping mechanism because that's called sex addiction, Like, you just like, I guess as a way.
Or using it as a form of self-harm.
Yeah, but
we've been there. Preach.
But also it was just like, okay, great. Good for you.
Wow. You don't want him to make his own life choices.
Well, he did, and then he made the better one by coming and breeding me. And he was like, okay. And then he was like, okay. He was kind of awkward. He left. He was like, okay. And he just like went to the door. And I was like, well.
Did you show me his profile?
No, I'll show you his profile.
Wait, I want to see.
Yeah. And that's just been the week, y'all.
Wait, Pioneer.
Yes, Pioneer. Honestly, I'm just gonna flat out say I saw Baby Reindeer, and that shit rocked me. And not just because everyone's talking about it and everyone's watching it, but it really, speaking of, like, I guess, trauma and whatever, or, like, coping mechanisms, Baby Reindeer has been a show that, like, addresses something like stalking or whatever, but, like, uses that as a way to address a bigger issue, which is why some people let some stuff happen to them. Mm-hmm. And it unpacks trauma in such a way that it is quite fascinating and innovative, and I've never seen a show be so honest and raw about a personal experience. And me going into a show that I'm doing at Joe's Pub Wednesday, May 29th. If you're in New York City, please get tickets.
Get tickets.
It's just been a thing where, like, it came at the right time just to, like, feel inspired, really, by people being so vulnerable. Mm-hmm. If you haven't seen Baby Reindeer, watch it. Episode 4, trigger warning, is very intense about sexual abuse and just trauma in general. This show is very trauma heavy, so I would not recommend watching this show if you're in a bad place and you don't want to be triggered. But if you want to just watch a really beautifully acted, greatly written, raw piece of work by somebody who was willing to be vulnerable, it's such a good fucking show. So my Pioneer is absolutely gonna be Baby Reindeer on Netflix. If you can watch it now. And also, I would recommend, this is one to binge, to be honest, or watch the first 2 episodes and then come back when you can watch the other ones back to back, because once you watch episode 4, like, you really want to watch the rest all together, I would say, because it really hits a little bit more intimately.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're only 30-minute episodes, except episode 4. That one's longer because of the subject matter. But, I mean, it's not either, like, a super long watch.
Cute.
Yeah.
My trailblazer for the week is gonna be The Real Housewives of DC.
Wow.
It's from 2009, 2010. It lasted for 1 season before it was canceled. It just got added to Peacock, and let me tell you, that is a time capsule to what life was like in, like, 2009 for, like, that group of people in DC. It's right when Obama was elected as a president. It's so all
everyone's just like, yeah.
No, and it's like, they're like, equality is real. But then also, if you are aware, and if you're not, one of the housewives on that show, her name is Mikhail Salahi. Her and her husband made national news when they broke in to the White House, like, ambassador dinner where they were honoring, like, the ambassador of India, and it was like the first official White House party that Obama was throwing. They were not invited. They snuck in. They, like, took a bunch of pictures with, like, Obama,
How could you
Joe
sneak
Biden
into that place, man?
They got it on camera. It's incredible. And these two people, this woman and her husband, delusional. They are the two of the most delusional people I've ever seen in my entire life. And I like remember when I saw that it was added to Peacock, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this because like I love the Real Housewives and I haven't seen this. And I was like, why does this woman look so familiar? I googled her name. And then obviously it comes up with like all of these like news articles about her and her husband breaking in because it made national news. They went to trial because it was like a huge security breach. Like they got in trouble, like all this stuff. Like, and they were like, they were like, you weren't invited, but you snuck in. And they were like, we plead the fifth. We're not going to speak on it. Like whatever. Mm-hmm. And it was crazy. And I remember seeing newscasts about it when I was like in elementary school because I remember my parents telling me about it and I was like, oh my god. And then of course you watch for a full season of this woman being absolutely delusional with her husband, and like it's such good TV. But also like the content warning, there is like, because it's majority white women and then there's like one black woman who is on the cast, and like the way they kind of like talk to her and treat her and act around her is very like, ooh, okay, we don't have all of the right language and the understanding of how to interact with people in a way that's not racist.
Yeah.
Even though when you think you're being inclusive because you're like, I love having a black president, there are some things that are a little bit questionable, but it makes such good TV.
Wow.
Like, the conversations that are being had are so... and the fact that it was canceled after one season is so disappointing because that cast is so good that it could have run for, like, 15 seasons. Like, it's so good. I recommend if you have Peacock, please watch The Real Housewives of D.C.
Yeah, so if you're, like, on the opposite mood of Baby Reindeer, watch The Real Housewives of D.C. on Peacock. Also, quick shout out, what's finally on Peacock?
What?
My Life on the D-List.
Oh yeah.
Bitch, when I tell you, Kathy Griffin, if you're watching this, this is a house of Kathy Griffin.
Well, we were raised on her.
We were raised on Kathy Griffin. Kathy Griffin, My Life on the D-List. There's no other show that will ever be like that. Mother is Kathy Griffin.
She's the blueprint.
She's the blueprint to reality television. Compelling, fun, entertaining. Oh my god, I was just rewatching the episode, the season when she goes to Australia and she just goes like, I gotta talk to her. I gotta talk to the gay person. But she's being real. No, she's like, I need you to find me a gay person.
100%. Or like when she goes to the prison and they're like, I want to kill you. Get out.
Oh, girl. No one did it like Kathy Griffin. No one ever will because it was such a moment in time with fame where like Facebook was just coming out, and the episode when she makes her mom do her Facebook account.
Yeah. But also her just being like, her being so upfront and being like, I'm pounding the pavement. I have to work. I'm doing these private like dinners. Like these rich people are hiring me to come to their house to perform for like an hour. She's like, I need the money. Like she is a businesswoman.
She's like, I'll go to fucking like whatever, like Tallahassee, whatever. Like she was gigging it. She was going to fucking Katy, Texas, or Kathy, California. Like she was going anywhere. She was like, I want to be famous. I want to be the richest person in the world. Like it was just so empowering, but also looking back, it's just like she really did do that. She did it. And nobody else will do it like her, and regardless of what happened, like watching the show in the context of what was gonna come her way, it is very much like, oh my gosh, she's gonna go through so much, but like ultimately she's just rising back again now, and like we're gonna look back and be like, she is, she's one of the true comedy geniuses.
She's a diva. We love
her.
Miss
Kathy Griffin. If you love us, please subscribe, like, comment on YouTube. We are... Share. Listen. Share it with your friends, whoever you talk to. We're really trying to get to a place right now. You just heard us rant about our job early on this episode, so please help us get some traction. We're getting so close to the 1,000 mark on Spotify. If you really want to subscribe there or share it with your people, participate, comment on YouTube. The last video was flooded with comments of people just, being supportive and everything. So keep that up. It took 5 seconds, didn't it? Comment on the video. If you're a visual learner, and go on our social media accounts at Pioneers and Trailblazers on Instagram and TikTok.
And you can follow Peru at Hey Peru everywhere. And you can follow me at Nicholas.Rose on Instagram, ClownfaceBinge on TikTok, and ClownfaceBitch on Twitter /X.
And we will see you soon. Send us DMs on the Instagram account if you want a town hall topic suggestion or a shout out.
Okay, bye.
Oh, and before we leave, we haven't forgotten. We all voted about the guest, and we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it happen.
We'll
I
figure it
promise.
out. We'll figure it out.
We're gonna have the guest of the pod. We haven't forgotten. Okay, we pay attention to the polls.
Okay, bye.